it's Mizuki Arts. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be painting a mermaid because Mermaid just ended, and I only did like, what, 3 mermaids, most of which you guys haven't even seen yet because my posting schedule is a little bit weird right now. But anyways, today we're going to paint a mermaid to make myself feel better because usually I do a week of mermaid every year and that did not happen this year. So let's just jump right into it. As you can see, I have a new sketchbook and it's covered in stickers, and here is today's victim, so to speak. I've already done the line art for this piece, so unlike my last video, I don't have to go through the line art process. I just can break out the palette and start working on it without having to worry about shaky lines on camera. I decided to do a pink wash to start with, and I think I decided to end up pretty early on doing a purple themed mermaid because I usually add like more bluish greens and like pinks and stuff, and I'm certain there will be some green and pink in this design, because I mean, look, there's a pink wash already on the page, and I decided to do kind of a watercolory kind of essence of a background, not really a true like waterscape, but just like a little color so you can kind of see where she's at, because I kind of love doing these splotchy backgrounds and I haven't done one in probably years. Honestly, it's been a long time. I used to be super inspired, and I still am super inspired by watercolor artists that do lots of like dappling effects with their color. And I just think it's so much fun to play with color in this way, even though I use gouache and not watercolors. So it was kind of fun to do something like this just because I don't usually do this kind of splashy, splotchy kind of work. That being said, I was having like big time imposter syndrome or self-doubt about whether or not this drawing was good enough for a YouTube video. I made some pretty serious mistakes in like the line art, and I really wasn't sure she was interesting enough for a video. Like she's not really doing anything. There's no story. It's just a mermaid, and she's just got a tail, and that's the whole thing. That's the story. That's the drawing. That's it. I wanted to draw a pretty mermaid tail, so I drew a mermaid, and that's it. And really the fun part about drawing mermaids for me, especially this year, is adding all that color to the tail. Like you'll see, like I mentioned, I wanted to do primarily purple in this piece, but I also added like green and pink and yellow, and I really just, you know, I wanted it to be very, very colorful because this year I did see a lot of like very, very colorful mermaid art. It was just so awesome to see everything people do for mermaid. I love mermaid so much. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned this before, but what really got me serious about art, in terms of like drawing every day, finishing pieces within a day or like 3 days or whatever, was mermaid. Like I first participated in mermaid back in May of 2020. And at the time, my school was of course doing like pretty much only Zoom classes. So I would be painting in class while on Zoom. I'd be like filming the little clips and stuff. Although I'm not sure if I had any point in filming the clips in that point. I might have been like pretty much done with TikTok by May of 2020. I'm not sure. I was probably like pretty burnt out of it because, as many of you are probably aware, I no longer use TikTok at all, so I probably wasn't filming much for it at that point, but I don't know, but I do remember recording while working on my mermaid pieces, so I don't know, but I remember thinking like, wow, I really can finish a painting in a day. I really can draw every day. It really is possible. And then I realized I really could do art professionally. Like at that point I was making a lot of art regardless, but mermaid just made me kick it up a notch. Like I only made a week of mermaid prompts for myself, but because I achieved that, like so easily. Like I did a full week of Mermaid. I was like, wow, I wanted to draw every day, and I did. And so that was kind of like a big deal for me. It was such a huge step up too, because I remember really struggling just to get anything done with drawing. Like when you're a beginner, it's easy to get stuck on certain stages of a drawing and not move on for a long time. And it's also easy just to think, or not easy, difficult just to think of an idea for a drawing. Like it's hard to tell, I think, when you're first starting out, which ideas are best to pursue. Like it's easy to sit down and just draw whatever you want, especially as a beginner, right? Like you sit down and you just draw whatever you love to draw. But once you start getting serious about it, you can start to feel a little paralyzed, I think. At least that's what happened to me. I'm not sure if that's like a common experience, but that's definitely something I experienced then. So it would take me like upwards of a week to complete a drawing. Like I'd have like 2 or 3 days for the sketching, 2 or 3 days for the inking, and then 2 or 3 days for the painting. And then one day I was like, I don't have to be like this. Not every piece has to be perfect. It's okay as long as I just keep drawing. And so that was kind of huge for me, I think. So coming back to this piece, I guess that kind of is a good reminder for me now, because I really was having like such a crisis in deciding whether or not this is the piece that I wanted to film the process for. Like I always have at least a couple works in progresses at any given time. Like I've learned something about myself recently where it's always best to have like options, you know, like make hay when the sun is shining, so to speak. If you know the saying. I found that it's so much better for me to work in rounds, where I make a sketch and then I take a break from it and I come back and revise, and then I do line art, and then I might take a break from it to work on something else. So I really wasn't sure if this was the piece that I wanted to pursue filming, you know, like I just really wasn't sure if this is a piece that I even wanted to finish, because that has happened a lot to me recently when I'm working in this rounds method, so to speak, where I start a sketch and I'm like, great, I don't really know if I like it. I'm going to take a break from it and come back to it and see what I think. And sometimes I just don't come back to it if I don't like it, you know. And that's okay. That's all part of the creative process. But it does lead to a lot of like quote unquote wasted pages in my sketchbooks. They're not really wasted. It's a part of the process, and almost always those ideas that I put down end up getting reused, but sometimes it feels like it's a waste, you know. So while selecting the piece for this video, and pretty much throughout the painting process, as I made a variety of mistakes throughout the whole thing, I started to doubt my decision. But overall, I think since I'm just struggling a little bit creatively right now, I don't think choosing any other sketch or lined sketch or whatever to pursue finishing for this video would have led to any better results, you know. It is what it is, you know, and I like the resulting painting. You'll see it at the end. It's not one of my favorite pieces or anything, but I like it enough that I don't really regret it. So all those doubts kind of felt kind of silly, you know. So questioning your creative process just isn't really worth the worry, you know, because in the end you're going to get what you get, and you can move on and redo it or not. Of course, for this video I didn't necessarily have the time for that. I really wanted to get the video out on time, so I didn't have time to redo things, even if that would have been my desire. And believe me, there definitely were moments where I desired to start over, to like put this piece in the trash, especially while painting this hair, because I really wasn't sure on the hair color. something I seem to struggle with is building color palettes. Like for this piece, I really wasn't sure what color to make her hair, just because honestly, like the color palette seemed complete without it. Like I didn't want to be too redundant, but I didn't want to bring in a whole new color, you know, just for the hair. I think brown hair would have suited her too, as would have blonde, I think. I mean, I could have gone in any direction if it was a natural color. Like, I don't think I look at this mermaid and think, you know, any one color doesn't suit her, but I wanted an unnatural color, you know? So I decided to give her purple hair in a slightly different hue. It's more of like a kind of, or I guess a different value, but you know, it's also kind of a different hue, I guess. It's more of a violet, I guess, or a lavender or something, while the purples in her tail and fin are kind of more bluish overall. And here you can see I kind of didn't totally like how that hair looked next to the solid purple on her fin, like on her tail. So I added in some little green specks to make it look shiny and pretty, and I added those same little green dots onto these starfish on her chest and tail, and I think those look really cool. I'm honestly pretty proud of how the starfish look, just because I really don't draw starfish at all, and I think I'd draw them differently even now. I feel like for some reason after like a year of art school or something, like I don't just draw things however. I kind of think about how they look in real life, and I could kind of feel that change in me in drawing the starfish, just because I don't know, I haven't drawn a starfish in probably years now. It's probably been since like I was 8 or 9. I don't know why it's been that long. That's probably not accurate at all, to be honest, but for some reason it just felt a little bit different this time, even if they still honestly just look like I took like the basic star shape and just put them on her and said, look, there's starfish. But anyways, I'm adding in these nice little gel pen details. I know just last video I was talking about using like gouache to add sparkles in addition to very light white gel pen usage, but for some reason with this piece I really felt like I was trying to convince myself to love it, so I put sparkles everywhere basically. I added them all over the place. I added tons of little dots and sparkles to really play up the shininess of her fin. I just, you know, I wanted it to be pretty so bad, and it is. It's just not one of my favorite pieces, so you'll have to forgive me for literally like being a hypocrite and almost backtracking a statement from my previous video, you know. But whatever, she's got a sparkly tail, and I don't know who wouldn't love that. So in unrelated news, I would like to say I don't know when I'm going to do my cursed images as character designs follow-up video, like my part 2 or whatever. I was supposed to do a part 2 at one point. I've been teasing doing a part 2. I just haven't gotten around to it. I don't know why. I'm literally on summer break right now, so I don't know why it's taking me so long. I don't even know if I'm going to do it at this point. I'd really rather do something more, I don't know, fantasy creature based, you know, like something with mermaids or fairies or whatnot. It's funny how the moment that Mermaid ends, I'm all over the mermaids and stuff, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Regardless, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for putting up with my double paint with me vlogs. It was pretty fun to mess around with a new format, and I'll definitely be doing these more often. They're a lot of fun. Catch you guys next time. Bye! Real quick before I get going, I want to say thank you to Ashley for supporting me on Ko-fi. Thank you so much, Ashley. Your support means the world to me. If anyone else wants to go join my Ko-fi for all these fun rewards, go check the link in the description box. Bye!